For many people, dating doesn't begin with excitement. It begins with quiet anxiety, the overthinking before a text, the pressure to say the right thing, the fear of doing something wrong before you even know what right looks like. And when things don't work out, the blame often turns inward. What's wrong with me? Why do I keep messing this up? But here's the truth most people never tell you. Beginner dating mistakes are rarely about being careless or doing too much. They're usually about not knowing yourself yet, about learning emotional timing, boundaries, and self-awareness in real time. Dating is less a test you pass or fail, but more of a mirror that shows you where growth is still happening. What if these mistakes weren't proof that you're bad at love, but signs that you're still discovering how you show up in connection? What if awareness, not perfection, is what actually changes your dating experience? Because the goal isn't to become flawless, it's to become conscious. Let's walk through the most common dating mistakes beginners make, not to judge them, but to understand them. Many people start dating without ever stopping to ask why they're dating in the first place. They say yes to connections that feel interesting, comforting, or convenient without clarity about what they actually want. And that lack of self-awareness quietly creates confusion, both for them and for the people they meet. When you don't know what you're looking for, every interaction feels emotionally loud. Small moments carry too much weight. Mixed signals multiply. You may feel drawn one moment and uncertain the next. Not because the other person is confusing, but because your inner compass isn't set yet. Psychologically, this happens when self-concept hasn't fully formed in romantic spaces. Needs, values, and emotional readiness haven't been named, so reactions replace intention. You're not choosing, you're responding. Are you dating intentionally or just reacting to attention? Do you know what you need or only what you fear losing? Clarity doesn't limit your options. It filters them, and clarity, quietly, attracts clarity. At the beginning of dating, effort can easily turn into performance. You plan every word, anticipate every reaction, and adjust yourself in real time, hoping to impress, hoping to be chosen. On the surface, it looks like enthusiasm. Underneath, it's often insecurity asking for approval. When you're trying too hard, you stop being present. You're no longer listening, you're managing perception, you're not connecting, you're proving. And the irony is, this usually creates distance rather than closeness. Because what people feel isn't effort, they feel tension. Psychologically, over-impressing comes from tying self-worth to outcome. If they like you, you're enough. If they don't, something must be wrong. So you perform instead of relax. But connection doesn't grow in performance. It grows in safety. Why does trying harder often push people away? What gets lost when authenticity is replaced with effort? The need to impress rarely comes from confidence. It usually hides the fear of not being enough. Early dating discomfort is often subtle, a comment that feels off, inconsistencies that don't quite add up. Moments where your body notices something your mind rushes to explain away. Instead of listening, you soften it, you excuse it. You tell yourself you're overthinking. This is cognitive dissonance at work, the tension between what you feel and what you hope is true. The mind chooses comfort over clarity, because acknowledging a red flag early means risking disappointment. It means letting go of potential, but emotional denial has a cost. What you ignore doesn't disappear, it compounds. And what starts as discomfort slowly becomes pattern. Why do we rationalize early warning signs? What are you afraid of losing if you pay attention now? Because the flags you ignore at the beginning often become the reasons you leave later. If this sounds familiar so far, tap the like button. It helps this video reach more people trying to understand love without confusion. Most dating problems don't start with conflict. They start with silence, unspoken expectations, needs that go unnamed. feelings that stay internal until they turn into resentment. And slowly, connection erodes without either person fully understanding why. Poor communication isn't always about not talking. It's about not expressing what matters, hoping the other person will just know, assuming instead of asking, holding back instead of clarifying. Psychologically, this happens when vulnerability feels risky, when asking for what you need feels like asking for too much. So you wait, you hint, you withdraw, and distance grows in the space where honesty should have lived. Are you communicating your needs or expecting mind reading? What remains unsaid that matters most? Disagreements can be repaired, but silence quietly damages what it touches. Emotional speed can feel intoxicating. The deep talks, the constant contact, the feeling of closeness that arrives before you truly know each other. It feels like connection, but often it's acceleration. When feelings move faster than trust, fantasy fills in the gaps. You attach not to who someone is, but to who they seem to be. And when reality finally catches up, the fall feels sudden, even though the pace was the real issue all along. Psychologically, this reflects attachment acceleration, the urge to secure closeness quickly to soothe uncertainty. But intimacy without time lacks foundation. Are your feelings leading or rushing ahead? What happens when emotional depth outpaces reality? Real connection doesn't need speed to feel real. Depth grows when it's allowed to take time. One of the quietest dating mistakes is self-abandonment. You agree when you want to say no. You soften your opinions. You shape yourself into what feels acceptable, hoping it will keep the connection alive. But every time you disappear a little, attraction weakens, because connection needs presence. And presence requires you to exist fully, not partially. Psychologically, people-pleasing erodes identity. You trade authenticity for approval, and over time resentment builds toward them and toward yourself. Who are you becoming to be chosen? What parts of you are going quiet? Because the more you disappear, the less there is for someone to truly connect with. Quick question, have you noticed this in your own dating experiences? Share in the comments. Your stories shape future videos. Healthy relationships aren't repaired into existence. They're built slowly, intentionally from the start. Through boundaries, consistency, and emotional pacing. Through choosing alignment over impulse. Every early interaction is a habit forming. How you communicate. How you respond to discomfort. How you honor your needs. These small choices shape the entire relationship long before commitment is discussed. Psychologically, early patterns set emotional expectations. What you tolerate becomes normal. What you practice becomes familiar. What habits are you building right now? Are you dating for validation or growth? Strong relationships don't begin with grand gestures. They begin with conscious choices made early. If you want more videos like this about love, dating, and understanding people better, like, share, and hit subscribe. Let's make love simple, one lesson at a time.